What's going on, YouTube? It's Ordyh here, right back again with another episode of Off the Break. I'm yet again joined by Hyper as always. What's up, Hype?
What's up, guys?
And as always, we are here to talk about the next event that's coming up this weekend. It's CDL Los Angeles, hosted by both Optic and the Gorillas. So it's gonna be a pretty interesting weekend.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it the last episode. I don't remember this many. Like, the only thing I like about the league when it comes to the format and the events and stuff is that I don't remember this many like actual events happening like back to back to back like really
Yeah,
quick.
I mean the last time that there was so many events like this was Advanced Warfare, where there was pretty sure 14. I want to say 14. It might have been 13. Yeah, I think it was like 13 LAN events as well. Yeah, so that was like the last time that there was this many events. So it's pretty exciting to like have one like every week or every other weekend. So it's pretty good for sure. All right, so but getting into it, of course, as always, we go through our predictions. There's two groups, obviously, as always. Two teams come out of each group. They play in a double elimination bracket. Two teams are left. They play in a single elimination bracket. I'm sure you guys know this by now, but I'll keep repeating it just for people who are new to the structure. And we're going to start off with Group B, actually, because the first match of the weekend is Atlanta FaZe, the current champions, against Mutineers. It's the rematch of last event. And Hype, who do you got winning this one out of the first match of the Group B?
I want to say the Mutineers just because I'm a big fan of Mutineers, but it's just I don't see it
Florida.
happening, especially after since the last grand finals from Atlanta, and Atlanta's coming off real hot. I think they probably focused on in the last 2 weeks off. They probably focused a lot on domination. So it'll be interesting to see their domination play coming into this event. But I'm gonna give it the Atlanta phase. I'm gonna give it a Mutineers at least a chance. Maybe a map. Maybe they focused a lot on their hard point coming from last event. So but Atlanta is probably gonna be way too dominant. So it's probably gonna be 3-0.
I don't think it's going to be a 3-0. I disagree with that one a little bit. I'm going to give your team, your home team, a little bit of a chance. I think it's going to be a 3-2. I think it's going to be a closer match than I think. I mean, Florida, again, I feel like they might have corrected the wrongs. They had enough time, and FaZe also had enough time, obviously, to correct their wrongs. And I feel like it's just going to be a very simple, similar matchup almost. I think it might be a 3-1 or 3-2. I think Florida might pull out a victory this time around. Obviously, they got swept in the finals 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to give Florida a little bit of chance. I still think Atlanta FaZe is going to win, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's gonna take like a lot of, especially for that Florida's Pristine. Pristine's gonna have to keep consistent. If he's not, then Mutineers really
That
don't
is,
have a
yeah, the
chance.
Prestige is always the X
Yeah,
factor. I agree with you. He was the
yeah.
X factor last year about the United World Championship team. Everyone always talked about him like, oh, should he be dropped or bench or whatever? But then like once they bring that up, he comes out of nowhere and drops like 50 kills. It's like ridiculous. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now let's head over to Group A, and we're gonna have the Rocker versus the Surge. Who do you have in this matchup?
um, I'm gonna have to go with Minnesota. I'm not a fan of the Seattle team currently. I've said my piece on that before. Um, as much as I like everyone on that team individually, I just feel like they four of the same players on that team. Well, actually three now because Enable was benched recently. So you have three of the same players on the team who have the similar role that do the dirty work, fill in the gap, be that bait, support kind of objective minded player. And it's good to have those players on your team, but not to have three or four of them. And that's where I feel like Seattle's failing recently. Again, I like the team, I like the roster on paper, but they're just not performing well because they don't have that consistent second slayer. I believe they subbed in Happy recently for Enabled, and we'll see how that works. But again, this is now the first time that we're going to be seeing Seattle in a very long time because they haven't been like the last event. So we're going to see them maybe struggle again. I hope not, but I hope I'm wrong. But I think Minnesota's going to take this like a 3-0 probably.
Yeah. Especially this is a big match coming into the weekend because obviously have new players, and I believe I know Pander's on that team, and then if Happy, if your information is correct. So it's gonna take a lot
I,
from
I
them
think I
this
think they're using
weekend.
Panda. I could be again. I could have been wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, they have a new player regardless. You're looking for that new player to go off and at least make an impact in this series. I think if they don't, then yeah, the Rocker, especially when if we talk about power rankings in reference to the last event at Atlanta, the Rocker looks solid. They look really good, especially with God RX and that AR. It's gonna be really hard to stop. So I'm gonna give the Minnesota Rocker 3 as well.
I want to correct myself. Yeah, it was either Panda. It was. I'm looking up right now. It was Pander. It was Pander and
Yeah.
Proto as their subs, not Happy. I apologize about that
Yeah.
misinformation. I just looked up just now while you were talking.
Yeah.
All right, so we both have Minnesota. All right, so the next one we go back to Group B, obviously, because they go BABA for some reason. They just go back and forth. We're gonna have actually the Dallas Empire making their return to the next series, home series events against the New York Subliners. Hyper, who you got? Who you got taking this one, bud?
Um, I'm gonna say the Dallas Empire. I'm gonna say they had a lot of time to look back on VOD and focus a lot during scrims. I think they're gonna make a really good comeback this event. Like I said, they've had a break, and I'm looking for them to take it through one of those upliners.
I agree with you on that one. I think that the Dallas Empire, again, to me, they're still a top three team because, again, if you look back at their losses, they've only lost to the other two teams who are the current champions. They've lost to Chicago, and of course they lost to Atlanta. They're both champions. They're not yet. I feel like Dallas could win a championship somewhere down the line. It might not be this event per se, but again, they beat everyone else. So I feel like they're just gonna roll through them 3-1 and move on.
Yeah. Now we're gonna move over to Group A, the big matchup
Marquee
for
match
this
of the
event.
night.
Yeah, Marquee, sponsored by Mountain Dew and Game View, future sponsor.
Hell yeah, future
Yeah,
sponsor, brother. Let's get
yeah.
it.
We're gonna Group A. Last match in Group A, we're gonna have the LAG versus OGLA Grills versus Los Angeles Optic. Who do you have in this matchup?
You know what? This is gonna be the first time finally after all these weeks and three events now. Well, technically two events, two tournament like events, and of course the launch weekend event. Optic's gonna get a win right here. I feel like because we brought up before we turned on the cameras, we're rolling that the Los Angeles Guerrillas recently changed half of their roster. They benched Aches, they benched Lacefield, and they benched Saints. They brought in three new players, two of which who are not really too familiar with the pro scene, obviously with Vivid and Spratt. They brought in Blast, obviously, from the bench that we already know about. He's a solid player. But again, this is a brand new roster just days before the event. Who knows how well they're going to look? I think Optic's going to finally get a match win and get some CDL points for that championship playoffs later.
Yeah, we're not gonna be on the same level as OGLA in terms of points. Could be sad.
I know we're gonna lose our
but
point. I know we're gonna lose our points somehow unless I somehow get
yeah,
on that
no,
unless I somehow get on that bench somewhere. I am free by the way.
yeah. I'm gonna go for this man. I'm actually gonna go the opposite of you. I'm actually gonna say the Gorillas. I think for those of you who don't know, their starting lineup is Aqua, Spart, Decimate, Blast, and Vivid. I think the 2 a.m.s have something to prove. I think they're gonna, if they don't let nerves get to them and they play their game, Spart and Vivid are definitely gonna take off. I've seen them play on stream in a couple scrims. I think they definitely have what it takes to be in the pro scene. Obviously, that's why they got picked up and scouted. I think they're definitely gonna make a run for this Optic, and we've said before, Optic really hasn't looked as well. They have no points, and all the other teams do. So I think I think after this event, if they don't show up, they're gonna have to make a change. They're gonna definitely pick up somebody probably from the AM scene. I know some people have said Pharaoh. Obviously he has bad past. But we'll see if they don't, start having wins. They're definitely gonna change up the roster after this event.
I agree. I said this last episode that if Optic comes out cold yet again, then they have to make a change for sure. All right, so we went over the first match of the group stages. Now we're just gonna go over Hyper. Who do you think? What two teams do you think are actually gonna come out of Group A to go to the
That's a tough
championship
one.
Sunday?
I think we can safely solidify that the Minnesota Rocker is definitely giving me a number one seed coming out of the Group A. Now, in terms of number two seed, that's where it gets complicated, right? Because Optic Gaming could definitely make a run, or they could definitely, finally, rise up to the occasion and actually make some wins happen. Seattle, of course, they made changes as well. Like it's weird how all these changes happen in Group A when it comes to the Gorillas and Seattle Surge. So it's kind of unpredictable with those two teams in terms of chemistry. But I'm for me, I want to say the Gorillas. Now that they don't have Aches, who's the villain, might actually start rooting for them now, especially since they have AMs on their team and the AM team wants to blow up. So I'm gonna give it to the Gorillas and the Rocket coming out of Group A.
I'm gonna go with the Rocker as well because again they just look the strongest of those four. I still think they're a top four team in the league. Period. But I'm gonna go with Optic obviously because I'm gonna go with the other Los Angeles team for the complete opposite reason. Well, you brought up the reason, but I'm gonna use it in a negative way. You brought up the fact that Vivid and Spread are AMs who've never been on this scene before. We saw what happened with Dallas. Everyone's talking about Dallas. Oh, these two new guys brand new to the scene, brand new to the pro league, brand new to COD land, and we've seen how much that Shotzi and Illy have failed so far. And I feel like it's going to happen with Vid and Spread. I think that the pressure might be too much for them on the big stage. I think Optic's going to take over. I think that Slasher's tired of this crap, and I think that they're going to pull through and make it out of Group A.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see, especially when we talked about it with Dallas with those new players. They're definitely gonna. I think they're gonna
LAN
rise up to Group
experience
B.
matters. Not every,
Yep.
online. Online's online. LAN is LAN.
Yep. All right, now we're moving on to Group B. Who are your two that are going to come out for Group B in your opinion?
I I'm gonna clearly say Phase and Empire, but I'm not gonna be surprised if I'm wrong with because with how good the league is and how good all 12 of these teams are, I wouldn't be surprised if New York might pull up because that's the beauty of this format is like anyone could show up on any weekend. We saw that last time with Florida. No one, Florida came out of nowhere, boom, second place. Could that happen again? Could lightning strike twice? It could with any of these teams. Honestly, we could be wrong. We could see a Seattle Surge versus FaZe finals for some reason. Like you never know. But I'm gonna go with FaZe and Empire just because those are the safe picks. I'm a huge fan of Crim Six. I feel like they're gonna start turning things around again. Like I said before, they've beaten everyone that they've played except for the top two teams, and obviously FaZe is the number one team right now in my opinion. They're the best team in the league. They're definitely gonna make it out. Empire's gonna make it out, but I wouldn't be surprised if Florida yet again had some magic pull out.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to have FaZe as the number one seed coming out, definitely, especially since they won off their home series event. And the only team to do that still.
Yep,
We haven't had the many events, but
they defended home court.
home court, right?
Hell
And for
yeah.
number two, I'm gonna give it to my Mutineers just because I have faith in them. I think even though they came second place at Atlanta, they're still underrated. Like a lot of people still don't give them credit for that.
Yeah.
And I think they're definitely gonna, show some people up. And I think they're gonna take the second seed over here on Group B.
Yep. I agree with you on that point. I could be wrong, and Florida looked really good. They surprised the hell out of me. I didn't pick them to make it out last time, and they showed up. But the final question before we wrap this up: who do you think wins the Los Angeles CDL championship?
Man, a lot of me wants to say FaZe just because they're so consistent. The young guns and Coach Carter is probably one of the best coaches. A lot of me wants to say FaZe, but I really want to go against the grain here. I'm gonna say the Mutineers are just gonna win just because they're gonna pull out some magic or something. Precision's gonna go off, seek vengeance on FaZe coming into this event, especially on the first day, the first matchup in the AM. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Mutineers just because I'm tired of the grain. I'm pretty sure a lot of people who aren't FaZe fans kind of just want to see them go down and fall down and lose the series eventually. So I'm gonna say they're gonna lose the series eventually, whether it be the Empire, the Mutineers, or the Subliners. They're gonna lose a matchup here.
FaZe is going to be the first back-to-back CDL champions. I'm sorry, they're just the best team in the league. They just make everyone who they play look like amateurs for the most part. I know that they had a rough match last weekend. I believe it was against the Minnesota, right, with the reverse sweep. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I think that FaZe. I mean, just looking at who would be left from my picks, I mean, it it'd probably be like a FaZe Empire finals, and I just think that FaZe yet again will beat them, and Empire will yet again lose to they'll lose to a top two team, and they'll just keep making my case of them being the third best team because they just keep losing to them. I just think that FaZe will just win. It'll probably be like a 3-1, maybe 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited to see this. I'm hoping it's another great weekend of COD. Just like we saw at Atlanta, it was
Yeah, Atlanta was
game five
hype,
after game five
except
after
for the
game
hype battles.
five.
Hype battles that no, that's
Yeah.
gotta go. But yeah, I think FaZe is gonna be the first back-to-back champions of this week or this season, I should say.
Yeah, I think I definitely wasn't looking at this being the most like hyped event or the most I wanted to watch. But ever since a couple of teams made some changes on the roster, now this is where it gets interesting to see, what happens on that chemistry side and to see what teams or what rosters actually worked for these changes.
For sure. But that's gonna be it for us. We're gonna wrap this up. Who do you guys think is gonna win CDL Los Angeles? Let us know in the comments below. This will be posted on my YouTube. I don't know if Hyper's gonna post on his or not, but it'll be on mine, youtube.com/Ordyh. As always, have enjoy you guys the rest of the day. We'll see you guys probably next Monday after the event, and we're gonna go over the winners and losers of the event and talk about some other stuff. Okay?
All right, see you guys later.
Peace out, guys.